Some boss spoilers in this video. After some delays, Hellpoint is here. So what is Hellpoint? It is Souls type game that blends some interesting setting ideas in attempt to create more immersive atmospheric Souls-like game. Well, that unfortunately failed. They should have delayed it for a lot longer. Biggest problem of this game at the moment is its release date state, which is unacceptable. Bugs, graphical glitches, which isn't that big of a deal, clippings all over the place, broken boss fights. I have waited for release day patch to see what would be fixed before writing this review, but not many things have been. For example, it happened a couple of times that I could not switch weapons at all, so had to restart the game. Happened I couldn't shoot as well. All these are thankfully not so frequent it would destroy your experience. However, biggest problem here are boss battles. Bloody hell, what a mess they are. 3 or 4 bosses just stood there while I hit them until they died. It seems like a bug that can happen anytime, and it happens far too often. That isn't unfortunately only problem when it comes to bosses. Aesthetically, bosses look fine with some interesting mechanics, but everything is so clunky with shit ton of clipping, broken animations and unbalanced to all hell. Some bosses you are gonna run straight through, but there are 1 or 2 that are ridiculous. For example, one boss spawns adds all the freaking time while also attacking, leaving you with almost no wiggle room. One of the most important aspects of Souls-like games are bosses, and this is by far weakest part of Hellpoint. Whole game is so clunky and plastic. Animations, be it attack, defense or movement, are too plastic with no weight behind it. Animations and the weight of everything you do is very important in these types of games, but Hellpoint does poor job in this department. Mind you, I'm not talking about graphics. Animations and graphics are two separate things. I understand this is a small studio that can't do much when it comes to graphics, so I won't count it towards negative. Graphics are serviceable, all things considered. There are some cool looking enemies, armor sets, weapons and locations. Problem with game being so clunky, plastic and buggy is that it kills immersion completely. I never had that exciting feeling of discovering something new like location, boss, weapon or armor, or at least being fearful of my next big encounter, which is normal for this genre. Just went mindlessly through the game. Upside is that bugs will be fixed and animations can be improved, but question remains by how much. I don't believe devs can improve upon clunky plastic feeling the game has by a lot. Can small improvements in that department make the game more enjoyable? Probably. So at least most things about Hellpoint can be fixed. Now on to combat. As mentioned earlier, you already know what the biggest downside is, but is combat any fun at all despite that? Well, yes, because of weapon and playstyle diversity, which is one of the strongest positives about this game. Character has 3 main hand and 3 offhand slots available to combine various playstyles. Magic weapons, guns, big strength based weapons, small reflex based ones. Great thing is that every weapon can unlock passive and active abilities, incentivizing players to stick with the weapon of choice because it will pay dividends later. I like this system. Unfortunately, two-handed weapons do not exist, but dual wield is important if you want to make use of what this game has to offer. Sure, you can go strictly sword and shield, but why not add gun or catalyst to other slot to mix it up? Character has 3 bars: health, energy and stamina. Energy is consumed whenever weapon ability, gun or catalysts are used. Hellpoint uses unique system that I quite like when it comes to energy and health restoration. Every weapon has leech stat that leeches energy and adds to health injection replenishment. Health injections do not replenish upon touching breach that serves as bonfire. By touching breach, health is replenished but not energy. Also, enemies do not respawn. Enemies respawn only if you leave the map or die. Story of Hellpoint is quite an interesting one, although presentation is weak. Your goal is to find out what happened at the space station. Who is this mysterious author who that created you in search for answers? what happened to once powerful civilization. So you have to explore, reading and understanding bits and pieces as demanded by the author. Overall, not a bad story at all. Game also tries to be atmospheric with some tunes in the background and succeeds a bit, but unfortunately all the immersion breaking clunkiness, plastic movement, clippings and buggy enemies take away from it. Game takes place on one giant space station. Locations are a bit disconnected and far away from one another, which is where fast travel system comes in place. Unfortunately, this system is very limiting, as I don't understand why fast travel isn't an ever-present option without the need for special item. Locations look vastly different, as some parts of Space Station resemble hell, while others resemble heaven, for the lack of better word. And lots of locations in between. Even though maps are disconnected, there are many paths and shortcuts in a map that help with navigation. Hellpoint also has insane amount of secrets, hidden corners with crafting materials, weapons, armor sets and so on. Due to how story plays out with couple possible endings and how many secrets the game has, replayability is high. After beating the game, difficulty of whole universe goes up, as you retain all stuff from previous playthrough, something like New Game Plus, I guess. Cool thing is that after finding special item you can decrease or increase difficulty at any breach. I like that there is such an option, as I found my first playthrough to be very easy with maybe 1 or 2 really huge difficulty spikes. Hellpoint has many jumping sections that lead to hidden stuff, which can be incredibly annoying as jumping lacks precision, so expect many deaths trying to reach out of way stuff. This is how you die a lot in Hellpoint, not by enemy's hand. Trust me, it ain't fun. Instead, it's going to drive you crazy. As I already mentioned, graphics are nothing special, but they don't need to be. Did not expect much, didn't get much, and I'm fine with that considering it is $30 in the game. Audio work is mediocre as well, but it isn't bad at all. Sometimes tune in the background can be atmospheric. Sound effects are hit and miss. Final verdict time. Hellpoint is $30 indie game with plenty of content, high replayability, decent story, but ultimately destroyed by plastic animations, clunkiness, bugs, horrible boss fights, annoying jumping and other small stuff. I never really found Hellpoint to be much fun. Fun comes from finding, using and combining weapons into different playstyles, but those are brief snippets that dissipate quickly. Final verdict is 4 out of 10, which is below average game. I'm giving it however potential of 7, which means good game. With fixed bugs, many animation patches to fix plastic feeling, clunkiness, clipping, bosses, jumping and some other stuff, I truly believe this could be a good game. Do I think they can fix all that? No, at least not in short period of time. We'll see what future brings for Hellpoint, as present isn't good enough.